underway.
Are we? So let's get started.
Don't shoot for that when you're here. I just passed it in.
Oh, I see.
Nice pass.
We'll go ahead and call this meeting to order. Is there any public comments on the agenda items? City sidewalks and ordinances, I'm guessing that's why you're here, Jewel. Okay, the floor is yours.
Yes, I've been here before, obviously, about the sidewalk issue at Cook Street, and, it has apparently gotten tore up now and gravel put down, or rock put down. I don't think that is better than what it was, but I don't think that it should be the fix. I find it frustrating that the city doesn't care about sidewalks or the safety or the handicapped people that are living down. I don't think that gravel is going to be very efficient, especially come winter time, to get her to pre-K when she's going to ride the bus.
Was there a plan to put gravel there and concrete it later, or was that just
Well, there's a plan
because of the weather?
There's a plan to put concrete there once a tree is removed. But the tree committee has expressed their concern and said that the tree is healthy and they're not willing to remove the tree. The tree roots are the original root cause of what made the sidewalk go bad. And as we removed the sidewalk, we took picture proof of the roots that came out that just took the concrete apart, essentially. So, Josh and Max, we went through quite a bit of effort to put that rock back in there, pack it down good and tight. And we've even entertained thoughts of coming back over the top of it with a skim layer of asphalt patch to tighten it up even tighter. Because if the tree's healthy, I'm kind of leaning toward them. Why do we want to remove a healthy tree?
Right.
You know, I mean, that's pretty much where we stand on that. I mean, I understand what she's saying, but why do we want to chase good money after bad by pouring a new sidewalk that this tree's going to continue to destroy?
Right. Do you think that the asphalt would, how long would it last with the roots?
I think it's going to last considerably longer than the gravel will. And I think it's definitely got a little more flex to it than concrete does, obviously. Never done it before. This is kind of a trial and error basis, just trying to make it as best as we can for her.
I appreciate it.
And, but the asphalt won't be until, what?
Well, we
June?
wanted to kind of let that rock settle just a little bit because, I mean,
Right.
yeah, we packed it in with a packer. So, I mean, it's tight,
Right,
but it would be nice to get a couple rains and warm up and settle down a little bit before we come along with some blacktop patch and pack that down on top of it as well.
okay,
It'd almost be essentially kind of like a blacktop driveway, only be a sidewalk stretch like that.
gotcha.
And hopefully that's acceptable enough to suffice, at least as long as the tree issue is gonna be an issue.
Yep, that works.
Do you think if we went down that path, that might clear things up with us a little bit, or?
Yeah.
Okay,
I mean, my main concern with it, I mean, she's in this, and there's other sidewalks in town that grass has grown over tree roots, and the sidewalk is either no longer there or wrapped, and it's rough. With this, let alone, she's supposed to be pretty much on a walker, hopefully by fall or early next year.
right,
So, I mean, I don't know how much experience anybody has with walkers, but it's not fun,
right.
so.
We understand. And, you know, I tell you, city sidewalks, they've been on our agenda to try to get fixed. We've looked into some grants. The thing is that we just don't have the money to do it at the current moment. It would have to be in phases, you know, so to have a sidewalk in everywhere in town for you to walk, you know, it's almost like, unfortunately, I'm gonna have to ask you to pick and choose which streets you walk on that have good sidewalks. You know, it's a terrible request to make, and that's on us, but you know, that's just the status of what it is, so.
We do have the, if a homeowner wants to put a new sidewalk in front of their house, we'll pick up 40% of the cost of it. I think that's what we've done in the past, but
That's what we've done in the past.
obviously not everybody wants to put a new sidewalk in right away.
I entertained that idea earlier. I don't know if I was talking to him or what, but that was when I was talking to tree committee, that's what she had also said, that it would be part of my cost because it touches my property, which I understood, and I was perfectly fine with that at the moment, but I just want a solution one way or the other.
Right. Well, it sounds like we're gonna try some asphalt possibly, so,
I mean, like I said, it's a trial and error thing. I'm not gonna say it's gonna be perfect. Maybe it'll be considerably better. I think it's worth the effort and the time. I mean, obviously, we wanna make it as best as we can for her, like I said, being the tree situation the way it is. And pretty much stabbing in the dark on that. I mean, we're sitting there between him and I racking our brains of what can we do to make this better with the situation we have,
right,
you know? And I'm pretty sure she'll agree that the effort, it's not like we just tore out concrete, poured rock in there and walked away.
Right.
No, I mean, we spent the better part of a day there to
Yeah.
put as much effort as we could into it to make it as good as possible. So,
okay,
if you're
It looks a lot
agreeable to
better.
that,
Yep.
and if we can make it, you know, fairly stable and harder even yet, I think it's gonna be good for you, hopefully for quite a duration of time.
I appreciate it.
okay. Any other comments or suggestions from anybody on this?
I had one thing.
Yes.
I know this is probably Streets and Alleys Committee, but I just wanted to put it up to you guys if maybe we should make a point in that committee that they bring up sidewalks, you know, on a monthly basis. And then, you know, always look for opportunities for
Opportunities to
funding.
fix them, yes.
Yeah, and then that way they can address customers on a monthly basis, kinda like we do with the water and stuff.
Very true.
But,
That is a good idea.
just so it keeps getting brought up, don't get forgotten.
I think Aaron wants to be on the street alley committee.
Like I said, I don't know what Lincoln does, I know they got bigger budgets and stuff, but I see them replacing a lot of their.
Right.
I don't know what they do, where the money comes from.
I think it comes from the poker machines. Okay, thank you, Jewel.
Oh, one other thing, sorry.
Yes.
The ordinances, I think the committee should also look at some kind, like the 40% he talks about, that's not in there.
No, it's not in
If we
there. It's
vote
just
on
something we've always
I mean,
done.
we kinda need to get something planned, cause nobody knows how it's paid for.
I don't think that's so much like it's an ordinance, it is just like a policy, like,
Yeah, I mean, even that being in there, like, city responsible to cover a percentage or something like that, you know what I mean?
Right.
It needs to be more defined, I think.
Okay. Any other public comments on the agenda items? Committee reports, police?
We're right now going around talking to people about properties, just making sure everything's kind of warmer weather, start cleaning up, checking inoperable vehicles,
Right.
you know, so that's kind of something we've been doing here lately. Reminding everybody it's starting to get nice out, so we can kind of spruce up our properties, make
Right.
things look good around town. So that's what we've been doing lately.
Did you purchase the radios yet?
I've got them on order. They should be, I think he said early May, this one, so that's good.
Okay.
So I don't know when the county's planning on switching, I've heard June. So, I haven't said I'll be able to, that's what I've got so far.
Anyone have anything else for Tony?
School stuff going all right? Buses and crossings?
Yeah.
Any new signs or anything in the works, or?
I haven't looked at any, you're talking about like the, on Vine with the solar things? I haven't looked into that lately, I've thought about it, I haven't looked into it, but still watching the stop arm stuff though. I can check into
Don't
that.
keep in mind for next year, get
Yeah.
ready for next year, you know.
Yeah. I'll look into that.
Okay. Water and sewer?
We did have a meeting this evening and touched on several subjects. The main subject we talked about was our continuation of our water meter replacement program, as well as making a little more of a dent in the lump sum payment toward our water tower rehab project loan. We're targeting 30 meters a month for about 8 months out of the year. try to get this process done within a 5-year time span. The other thing that we talked about was concerning the Force Main project updates. Unfortunately, Justin with Farnsworth Group was supposed to be here and injured his back yesterday and was unable to attend. We had a pretty lengthy discussion about that as well, with 2 different ways we could possibly go to get this project sewed up and done. One of them is to essentially reuse the pipe that we're using now, but go through the process of relining the inside of the pipe to extend the duration of that pipe. And the other option is to bore and jack an entire new casing and tie in that direction. So that's pretty much what we discussed on that. Any additions you have to that, Andrew, would you like to throw in there, or Aaron?
Is that something we need to kind of vote on a route?
I think we're too early to finalize those.
Yeah, probably so.
We need to get like if we think that's our plan, we need to get solid price estimates before we decide.
Well, I mean, I've obviously provided the estimates that I was provided. And of course, these are estimates. For the first option that I spoke about with relining, and this is just for the lining process itself, is in the $35,000 range. Now, if we was to go and say, okay, we're gonna bore and jack an entire new casing, we're looking at the $55,000 to $65,000 range just for the bore and jack of the casing itself. So basically, what I'm looking for, and I know our committee is looking for, is what's our best option going forward? Which way do we really want to go? And that decision, in my opinion, is laid at the feet of the council and mayor.
Are the 2 options clear? Does anybody have questions on those?
The new bore and jack pipe would be 12-inch, right? And this older pipe is 8-inch?
Is 8.
And it'd be further restricted with the lining a little bit.
Yeah, you're gonna shrink that down a little bit, yes.
Also, if we relined it, we'd still be completely in the railroad's easement. And although right now we're okay to fix it, in the future we're still gonna have, if something came up, we'd still have issues.
The bore and jack would get us out of that.
Yeah, basically we could do what we want. We'd be completely outside of the easement on both ends if we ever wanted to completely replace the pipe. I don't think we'd even need the railroad's permission. Maybe we would, I don't know.
You're thinking the way I am too.
I'm gonna start sending them Christmas cards and see if they get a little more friendly.
My professional opinion is to go with the new bore and jack. I know it's the more expensive route, but I'm leaning toward what Andrew and Aaron have just expressed. That gets us out of the railroad's easement totally, and it gives us a lot more flexibility going forward in the future if we have repairs, if we have replacements. We don't have to jump through the hoop with them with the time, money, stuff of that nature. I know it's more expensive, but I think in the long haul, I think we come out ahead.
Time's expensive too. You know, we wasted a lot of time
Yes,
with the railroad.
time is extremely expensive.
So, I'm good with that. Any other questions about the force main? Anything else for water and sewer?
Have we gotten any responses back on our income surveys, Matt?
Not yet, no.
So we did.
I just got mine last Thursday or something. They haven't been out very long.
No, they were mailed out Friday.
Yeah, okay.
I think a total of
Yeah, I got it today.
156, I believe, we mailed out.
Streets and alleys?
Basically what we got, the springtime's coming, so between tomorrow's ventures with the leaf vac getting out, cleaning up from the winter, from leaves that did not get taken care of in the fall, or that the courthouse is bestowed upon us up here on the square. The next day or two, we're gonna get that cleaned up, then we're gonna obviously start the street patching process, pretty hot and heavy. That's where we'll have to patch for you as well, to get that ball going and get in motion there.
Anything else for streets and alleys?
Since we did get the, at least some of the cracks sealed, I know the plan was after we got them sealed to try to repaint the lines, especially around the square and crosswalks this year.
That, part of that kind of depends, I mean, obviously we'd be doing it on the outside for restriping, because that's where we've already done the repair work. I don't wanna get too involved in restriping on the inside yet without for sure of what the courthouse foundation is gonna do for reconfiguring the inside of our square around our courthouse.
I think realistically, we're looking at least a year to 2 years before.
If that's the case, then we
anything
can
happens.
restripe it, because it'll be due again, or relatively close to being due again.
We have all the equipment to do that.
We do have a striping machine, that's
We
correct.
just gotta buy material.
Just have to buy the paint materials, clean up.
Anything else for streets and alleys? Finance?
Sorry, I forgot to pass these out.
Oh, you're fine.
These are our deposits since the last meeting, nothing exciting, same stuff. We're also starting to work on the budget, so if we know of any, large expenditures or projects that we need to make sure we put in there, I need that from the departments.
Okay.
We got $4,500 from Ameren.
I'm not sure.
And
what
I saw
is.
that as well.
We've gotten them before, some refund, I think.
Interesting, I'll look into that.
That's not the reimbursement for the lights, is it?
No, because I looked back, because I thought that was weird in our other deposits, and we get them kind of sporadically throughout the year. So this is like the first time we've gotten it.
Anything else for finance? You mentioned something about using some of the water funds to make an extra payment on the water tower. If you could coordinate with the finance committee on that, and Tricia, of course, I mean, if it looks okay, and if you
Yeah.
guys have already
It
looked it
is,
over, it
we've
looks
got,
okay,
we've got
okay.
it.
Okay,
And I think we had kind of budgeted last year and
to
anticipated.
pay extra on it.
As long as they're not gonna need it for something else, I'd say we'll go ahead and put it on the next accounts payable
Okay.
list.
Anything else for finance? Any public comments on the non-agenda items? Okay, on to the approval of the consent agenda, approval of the bills.
J.M. Abbott's $2,201.25, Caterpillar Financial $1,420.87, IMB $2,112.12.
Any questions on the approval of the bills? The zoning variance was what we talked about last meeting with the wind tower that is 1.4 some miles away from town. After talking with Will DeAndre and, well, Jordan was the one that reached out to Will. We asked Jordan Services to make sure that, you know, we didn't need to make this public in any way for our citizens to make sure they were okay with it. It turns out after I talked to Jordan last Thursday, he had several conversations with Will DeAndrea, who is the zoning official at the county. This is not required of us. I don't know if it was a miscommunication between Enel Energy and the county, but last Tuesday, they approved the permits, if I remember right. So, I mean, they've already gotten the go-ahead, they've got the site confirmations and the go-ahead to begin building the wind farm. So Jordan's legal advice was to not take action on this, because there's really no reason to. So, we will eliminate that from the consent agenda. Does anybody have any questions about that? If you want better for clarification than the way I explained it, you know, feel free to reach out to Jordan or Will. Will's usually pretty good guy to talk to. City sidewalks and ordinances, we've discussed that some. Is there action that's going to be taken on that, or who was the one to put that on? Were you the one to put that on
Yeah.
there?
You guys, I brought up what I need to talk
Gotcha.
about.
So there's really no action to be taken. So we will remove that from the consent agenda as well. And the force main update, is there action to be taken on that?
I don't think so.
Not until we know price-wise, not until we get a better
Right,
idea
until we
of
get
the
a little
bid.
more solid numbers, I feel that we should wait.
Now that you know what avenue we're gonna take,
Pardon?
I said, now that you know what avenue we're
Yes, now I
gonna
know which way we're gonna go. Yes, that'll definitely determine it.
take. So it looks like the only thing on the consent agenda would be the approval of the bills. I'll entertain such a motion.
I'll make a motion. Pay the bills.
All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Under miscellaneous, we have mowing bids.
I had that added. We're getting to that time that, it'll be mowing season. And, you know, as we well know, the last few years, we have contracted out, bid out, however you wanna word that, with well sewer to mow our sewer pond and our, well field. My question is, do we wanna continue to do that? I mean, we don't have to rebid it. They're agreeable to do it still. But I'd
Well, we
like to
bid it
keep
the first time and it's under $10,000. I
Yes.
think we pay them around $8,400 a summer. Obviously, up for discussion, what's everybody think?
You
You
know,
would-
it's not like a contract or anything, right?
No, it's a year-to-year deal. You believe that Will does a sufficient job?
Yes, he does.
No one has any problems with it, then I'd say we go ahead and contact Will.
I'm okay going forward with it.
I'll do that tomorrow.
Any other miscellaneous business? The only other thing that I had from Jordan when I spoke to him on Thursday, he spoke of the zoning variance and the advice to really no action to be taken. He was also in contact with, the Illinois Department of Transportation, that sheet we gave us the last time that showed the jurisdictional section of that town as a city road. He talked to some people at IDOT to confirm that, and he's waiting to hear back from them. That's really the only news, new news I have on that. So.
Okay.
Anything, I was unable to make it to the development, was there anything to be reported from that, or just kinda basic, just kind of a meeting, or not a whole lot of action taken, or?
I guess a couple of things. They did hire an administrative assistant, Laura Ho, formerly Voley, to assist with administrative tasks, and that would be including updating the city website for all the things that we've hoped it would be, and assist with all the administrative things that Tom Martin's been doing and organizing the meetings and such. And that's gonna be an hourly thing, not to exceed 20 hours a week. And then the second thing, one of the things that we've been concerned about since the end of the paper, Darren Powell, one of the new members, has been working with the Logan County Herald, and they will be setting up a whole separate page for Mount Pulaski, and he's been working with Ann Hoagland, and to kind of focus on Pulaski news, Pulaski happenings, obituaries, and whatnot. And that is not up yet, but it's in progress, so thanks to Darren to leading the charge and getting that created for us. So those are the highlights.
And just to confirm, Laura's salary will come out of the community donation?
Yes.
It will not be from the city funds?
No.
Any other miscellaneous business? Any need for executive session? All right, we'll call this meeting to a close. Thanks for coming. No problem, no problem. I thought about calling you. Let me make sure.